We continue on with the countdown today with some very, very interesting guys. All you got to do is stick around and find out who they are.
You are Locked On Bama, your daily podcast on the Alabama Crimson Tide. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back into Locked On Bama. Luke Robinson, that's me. Jimmy Stein, that's him. Jimmy, is good to have you back. Yesterday we had Brian Smith, our local recruiting expert, on. You can go back and check out that podcast. Thank you for making us your first listen. Let's talk some countdown stuff because we got to knock these out because practice is right around the corner. And we're going to start with one, Mr. Justin Eboigbe, who, this is a guy that's coming back from an injury. Very, very good player. We all love him a lot. And I'm hoping he's coming back with a vengeance.
Yeah, Eboigbe's a real interesting guy because I think he's one of many now we could tie into, as Justin goes, the season will go. I mean, I think he's that important to the team. He could be Alabama's best defensive lineman. He could be our most disruptive player up front. Or maybe he doesn't have a big year because he missed so much time last year because of the injury. And we're about to get into that. But I do think there's a wide swath of how good or average Justin might be this fall. If he is picking up where he left off prior to his neck injury, he could be one of the better defensive linemen in the whole SEC. He's extremely experienced. The first thing to love about Justin Eboigbe is he's been here since 2019. He showed up in 2019 and played as a freshman. He then played in 2020, the COVID year, which, as we know, doesn't count, but it does count in terms of gaining experience playing in big games. Justin played in 19. He played in 2020. He played in 21. And as we know, last year was supposed to be his senior year in 2022. And he was a starter, again, playing with the first team for the fourth consecutive year and was playing the best football of his career. Looked like he had turned the corner, looked like he had developed into an NFL player right in front of our eyes. And then he has the really unusual, unique neck injury that I believe he suffered in practice and not actually in a game. But it was an extremely serious injury that required a specialist and a surgery that not only helped him, it saved his career because there was concern Justin's career was over. But the specialist who had done the surgery for other athletes in the past came, I think, from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, I believe. And Justin underwent the surgery and was just cleared to resume normal football activity again right before spring practice. So will his time away from football have a big negative effect? It's very possible. That wouldn't be shocking, right? But at the same time, he's an older kid, works really hard. And I personally have every hope and expectation that Justin will be fine. And if he is, and he picks up right where he left off prior to the neck injury, he could be one of our best players on defense. Again, now he's a fifth-year guy. The NFL was really liking him before that injury. I knew he was going to be invited to the Senior Bowl and probably have a similar season and similar career to his teammate Byron Young, who did come to the Senior Bowl and ended up being a third-round pick, in the draft by the Raiders. So anyway, Justin is going to be a leader up front. Again, a fifth-year guy. He has started games or at least played with the first team since his true freshman season. He's probably the most experienced guy in terms of games played on the whole roster. Good kid, too, graduate, and really pulling for him. If he's not recovered from the neck injury and suffers due to all his time away from football, hey, let's not sugarcoat it. That's not going to be good. It's not going to be good for the whole defensive line group because, I think we look really good with a good Justin. It's a little more shaky situation without him.
Yeah, especially considering we've already lost another defensive lineman this year with a little incident with the coaches and transfers. And so, you just get to a point. I'll tell you something that I noticed about the All-SEC team. Georgia has two defensive linemen. LSU has two defensive linemen on, who are the two teams that probably are really our arch nemesis right now. Those two. Those are the two you got to get through typically to make it to the college football playoff. So that's an issue.
On that same point, you can foresee two of the three, Tim Smith, Jaheim Otis, who we haven't got to on the countdown yet for good reason, and Justin Eboigbe. You could see two of those three playing at an all SEC level this fall. It could happen. It could happen. We need it to happen, and it could happen. I think the optimist would say, hey, there's a good chance that'll happen. And the pessimist would say, well, the media is more, the media seems to be betting on the Georgia and LSU guys and not the Alabama guys. True. But optimistically, it could really happen that two of those three could play at an all SEC level.
And then you could be talking about a James Smith. I mean, this guy could be coming in directly from high school and creating a lot of waves. I mean, it could happen. I don't remember where exactly was James Smith on the countdown. Jimmy, do you remember?
Yes. I can't remember. I don't have it in front of me. I can't remember specifically, but he would have been somewhere in the low 30s, I believe, because and again, that's crazy high for a true freshman. Yeah. Look, my belief is this. I believe, to break down the whole defensive line group, I think the starters, if we want to label players starters that literally come onto the field in a normal situation with the first unit, will be Tim Smith, Justin Eboigbe, and Jaheim Otis. I think those will be the three guys. I think the next three guys are James Smith, who I basically would call the fourth guy. James Smith, Damon Payne, and Jamarian Latham. I think those three are going to play a ton. They'll play with the first team. They'll be in the game. First quarter, first game, they'll be out there. They just won't play the snaps that Smith, Eboigbe, and Otis will play, but they're the next tier. There could be a seventh guy. If it is, it's probably Monkel Goodwine. But I think that's basically the rotation. Smith, Otis, Eboigbe, the starters. James Smith, Damon Payne, Jamarian Latham off the bench, but playing frequently with the ones.
Yeah, I mean, having a key defensive line rotation, a good defensive line rotation, I should say, is key. Speaking of other things that are key, these days, every new potential hire can feel like a high-stakes wager for your small business. You want to be 100% certain that you have access to the best qualified candidates available. That's why you have to check out LinkedIn Jobs. You just got to go there. LinkedIn Jobs helps you find the right people for your team faster and for free. Look, all you got to do is go to LinkedIn Jobs, add your job in the purple hashtag hiring frame to your LinkedIn profile to spread the word that you are hiring. Simple tools like screening questions make it easy to focus on candidates with just the right skills and experience so you can quickly prioritize who you'd like to interview and who you'd like to hire. It's why small businesses rank LinkedIn Jobs #1 in delivering quality hires versus leading competitors. LinkedIn Jobs helps you find the qualified candidates you want to talk to and helps you find them faster, like Isaiah Bond. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/lockedoncollege. That's linkedin.com/lockedoncollege to post your job for free. Terms and conditions may, and I bet they do, apply. On the next Locked On Bama, we're going to keep on with the countdown. We're going to try and knock this puppy out because practice is going to be here before you know it. And, Jimmy and I are getting excited about that. So we'll be spending a lot of time on that. We'll also be talking about the big barbecue coming up this weekend for Alabama. A lot of prospects out there. We have some recruiting stuff we can discuss. I say we save that for the next podcast. And that's what we'll do, barbecue stuff. Also, I mean, obviously, by the time you watch this, Alabama's probably already missed out on DeMarcus Riddick. Don't panic. I mean, I know Auburn fans are losing their mind saying they're taking the state back. Okay. They're doing, and kudos to them. This is a big pickup for Auburn. I am not diminishing that in the least. It is a nice pickup for Auburn. There's no doubt about it. At the same time, Alabama's not going anywhere. Georgia's not going anywhere. Georgia got another 5-star guy who some people think is the best linebacker in the country in Justin Williams the other day. So I'm not worried about Georgia, and I'm not worried about Alabama. Auburn's going to be a little better under Hugh Freeze. We all knew this. Don't act surprised. He's going to get his fair share. But Alabama's always going to be Alabama, especially with Nick Saban there. So, I mean, again, for anybody out there wringing their hands, worried to death that Alabama missed on DeMarcus Riddick, who is a very good player and who we take immediately, don't wring your hands. Now, one other thing that your buddy Tim Watts said on Bamaonline, I said we weren't going to talk recruiting, but I'm going to do it for a minute. I thought this was an interesting take. He said, look, one thing that he believes, and this is, he said this, I'm paraphrasing to a degree, but one thing he believes is that, DeMarcus Riddick has made no bones about it. He wants to have more fun in college. He's more of a, just sort of go out there and enjoy the moment kind of guy. Now, there are other people who look at it like, I'm sorry? Jimmy, somehow you're muted. I don't know how. I've never seen that before.
It is a first. That's a first. Is it a first that I was muted?
That may be a first.
It was an error. No, I was just saying, no, Mark, it's a great point about Tim's comment. Just personality fit. Just, is the best way to describe it. Just personality fit. DeMarcus felt like his personality and what he's looking for in the college experience fits Auburn and not Alabama. And that's okay.
And that's okay. Let me say this. I mean, I talked about it last night on our Sports Splits programming and my Auburn cohort. I could tell he sort of took offense to it. And I'm like, look, don't take offense to it. Because, I think it's very clear. When Auburn is winning and doing well, they probably enjoy it more than Alabama fans. Now, there's some folks out there going, oh, that's not true. Alabama fans have such a high standard of winning that it's tougher for us to get up. It's easier for us to get down. The high standard is there, and that's great. I love where we are. I'm not trading with them, but I'm saying that it's very clear when Auburn is in the middle of a winning streak of some description, their fans are just more rabid. And I think that's very fair to say. The flip side of that is they don't enjoy it as much. So they don't enjoy the winning as much, clearly.
As often.
Huh?
Right. Yeah, as often.
Yeah.
They don't win.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
No.
There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with saying that 2013, the prayer and Jordan Hare and the kick six moments were as exciting as, anything. I mean, they were crazy moments in college football history. Crazy. Now, what's happened since then is they've lost to a lot of other teams, at home and away. Meanwhile, Alabama's won a lot of national championships. So it's okay. Both ways are fine. I like our way. And I'm not trying to – I'm just saying that I saw a couple of tweets about this, about some Auburn fans posting Tim Watts' comments, sort of saying, he's saying that he wouldn't come here and, Alabama doesn't want to take him because he loves fun too much. That's not what he's saying at all.
No.
He's just saying that sometimes the personality doesn't match up with the school, and Alabama wants DeMarcus Riddick. They want him badly. I'm not saying they don't. They want him badly.
Tim didn't say that either, that Alabama didn't want. He just basically explaining that.
Anyway,
like Luke was saying, there's a stark difference between the programs right now in terms of feel, and DeMarcus feels like Auburn's the right fit for his personality. Now, recruiting's not over. It's just a commitment. And as we know, there are flips. I think this kid was literally very torn between the two. And he was so torn. In fact, this one bears watching all the way to signing day in December. So we'll see what happens. And good luck to him and to Auburn if he sticks with them. We'll see.
All right, let's get back to the countdown then. Let's go to Terrion Arnold, who's one of the better athletes on this team. A lot of fun to watch. I mean, look, there was a lot of talk that he was going to be playing some basketball when he first came to Alabama. That never materialized, which, okay, good. I'm actually glad it didn't work out, frankly. I mean, I want a guy to, to be one or the other. But Terrion Arnold, I think he has the ability and the athleticism to be awesome. I think it'd be nice to see him put this together this particular year. And he's got a great opportunity because people aren't going to throw at Kool-Aid very much. We hadn't gotten to Kool-Aid on your countdown because he might be number one for all I know, but he'll be close. And so I think Terrion Arnold's going to have an opportunity because when you're going to pass against Terrion Arnold until he makes you do otherwise.
That's right. No, that's a great last point to make about the amount of action Terrion Arnold's going to see this year. Terrion will be most likely the starting cornerback opposite Kool-Aid McKinstry on Alabama's defense. He started I believe 6 or 7 games last year as a redshirt freshman. I thought did really well. I wasn't the only one that thought he did really well. Some people didn't know. So he was a Football Writers freshman All-American last year. So he didn't stand out just to us Alabama fans. His play was noticed nationally. He has a great frame for the cornerback position, exactly what the NFL is looking for, probably a little over 6'1". Those long arms really helps him in coverage. Good kid, one of the best kids on the team, just a super dude, charitable, social, smart, just a real good kid, hardworking. And he's going to see a ton of action at cornerback this fall. And what I mean by that, obviously the playing time, because again, we project he'll be a starting cornerback, and have him here on the countdown, is like, the 14th best player on the whole team. But what we mean by a lot of action is exactly as Luke pointed out, Kool-Aid's going to be at one corner. He's probably the best cornerback in all of college football. You're talking about a candidate for the Thorpe Award, first team All-American, and probably a top 10 pick in the NFL draft next April. That's how good Kool-Aid is. So every opponent we play, they've seen Kool-Aid. They know Kool-Aid. They're not going to throw it at Kool-Aid. His corner is going to be pretty quiet most of the game. So the other corner is what's going to be attacked. So Terrion needs to be up to that. It's going to be a challenging year for him. He's going to see a ton of balls. And hey, for the fans, there's going to have to be some level of patience. He's going to give up some catches. There's just no cornerback that doesn't. And he's going to be seeing a lot of targets per game. I would say it's not even crazy, Luke, to think as many as 10 to 12, maybe even up to 15 in a game could be possible, with quarterbacks staying away from throwing at the other corner because they know that's trouble for them with Kool-Aid lurking over there. So it's a lot that's going to be on Terrion Arnold. I think he's going to be up to it, and we'll see. I'll just throw in that one of the transfer pickups over the spring and summer was Trey Amos from University of Louisiana at Lafayette. He chose Alabama over several other schools. He's coming to win a cornerback spot. Trey Amos believes he can be a starting cornerback. Kool-Aid's position is cemented. So Trey Amos will compete with Terrion Arnold in fall camp for that starting position at cornerback. I just believe Arnold's going to hold on to it and win and keep the job as a projection. But I certainly don't dismiss entirely the idea that Trey Amos actually ends up starting that cornerback spot. I do think that's possible. So that's why we're mentioning it here. But our projection would be that Arnold wins the spot and plays really, really well. I'm not saying in the future he's going to be Kool-Aid, but a year from now, Kool-Aid's going to be gone. And when he's gone, Arnold's going to be the guy, and then he won't see as much action as whoever's starting at the other corner, which may be Trey Amos, by the way.
So Amos would actually have 2 years then.
Amos has 2 years of eligibility.
I don't know why I thought he only had one.
Because the other DB does. That's confusing. The 2 DBs that we brought in the spring from the transfer portal, Trey Amos has 2 years. Jalen Key only has 1. So Key is the one and done guy from UAB. Amos does have 2 years of potential eligibility. I believe he might be listed as a senior on the roster because he's played 4 years, but due to a COVID year, Amos could come back next season.
All right, Jimmy, let's take a break. When we come back, it's time to talk a little Deonte Lawson. And we're back. Time to talk some Deonte Lawson. I don't know why I like saying it like that. It's an interesting name. I like him a lot. I like the dude. By the way, his former teammate, Sterling Dixon, is changing schools. And they were teammates, I guess, right? I mean,
if they were, yes. I think when Deonte Lawson was a senior, Sterling Dixon may have been a freshman. I believe that's true. Something along those lines.
I mean, it was close. They were the same school.
Yeah, I think I saw him play in the same game. I think I found or saw Sterling Dixon watching Deonte Lawson play in his senior season at Mobile Christian, which was now 3 years ago. And Sterling Dixon was a true freshman starting safety back then. And, of course, he's grown into a linebacker. Yes, he is transferring to Theodore High School, I believe.
God, Theodore's going to be stacked.
Yeah, they're a good team. They're a good team. Deontay's a great player. We have him here ranked as the 13th best player on the team this fall. 2 ways to look at Deontay's career. Hey, look, when he has been healthy and he's on the field, he has been a standout. He's not just a good player. He stands out as one of the best players on defense when he's out there. Highly athletic, smart, sort of a Sabanized kids. We've called them Saban bots here on the show before. That's Deontay, because extremely hardworking. He's a leader, good at everything he does. He's the modern inside linebacker in the sense that, the old inside linebackers in the old days, Dick Butkus or Mike Singletary, they're these thumpers, guys that take on fullbacks and take on guards and hit the back and the hole at the line of scrimmage. Well, football's changed. It's a different sport now. Now inside linebackers play in space. They're rangy. They're athletic. They play sideline to sideline. They fall into coverage. A lot of inside linebackers have safety skill sets because they got to cover. That never happened back in the old days. Now it's a mandatory thing, and Deonte Lawson's like that. He started out his career as a defensive back, just like we were talking about Sterling Dixon, the commitment. Deontay was a safety at Mobile Christian as a freshman and a sophomore before growing and becoming now a 230-pound linebacker like he is today. But when Deontay has been on the field and playing and healthy, he's been great. The negative side to Deonte Lawson in terms of counting on him is this is going to be his third season at Alabama. In his freshman season, he was hurt in the third game and missed most of the rest of the year. And last year, as a co-starter at inside linebacker, he sort of shared the will linebacker spot with Jalen Moody. Lawson was hurt and missed several games down the stretch again. And then he missed the spring, recovering from his injuries in the fall. So Lawson hadn't always been out there. Now he's 100% right now going into the fall camp, completely healthy. He is projected to be Alabama's starting Mike linebacker this year, the guy responsible for getting the defense set. And he's ideally suited for that. Like, again, smart kid, sort of a coach on the field type. And he'll be extremely valuable. The thing with Lawson is, will he finally stay healthy for an entire football season? If so, you're talking about a guy at Luke that has a great chance to challenge for all SEC honors. That's how good he is.
I'm here. I did not mute. I was just, again, taken aback at how quickly you abruptly ended that.
But I talk a lot until I don't.
That's right. You just like stop. And I'm trying to keep the focus on you, the focus on Jimmy. That's how unselfish I am. All right. So that's going to do it for those three: Eboigbe, Terrion Arnold, and Deonte Lawson. We'll have three more and probably some recruiting talk on the next podcast, which will be tomorrow. And until then, roll tide, everybody.
Roll tide.